So first I'm going to start by giving these carrots a quick peel. We get our carrots from Eagle Road Produce.
Now I said the scallops were huge. Your carrots are massive.
Yeah.
So do they always come this big, or is this like a special time of year
Not
thing?
all the time, no.
Okay.
I'm going to put this with a little ginger, and I find the flavors of the two really complement each other very nicely. Really just like the flavors of fall. The fall flavors start to hit. Such a difference from tomatoes and basil and all that.
Fantastic.
Just kind of rough chopping these.
Okay.
Since it's puree, it doesn't really matter what size cut you're doing. And then we're going to do the ginger next. The neat trick for the ginger is to take the back of a spoon, actually.
Nice.
And you can use that to peel away the skin, and you're left with just the nice ginger flavor.
So it's not like you're shaving off, like if you use a vegetable peeler, you'd be taking off a big chunk of the actual ginger flesh. So this is great. Great tip.
Exactly.
Now I can't help but notice this gigantic, almost vintage looking cleaver that you have. Is this something that you use all the time to chop with?
It is actually.
Really?
I feel like using cleaver is actually quite dexterous. It may not look it, but also for beginners, the technique is to curl your fingers under. And with the cleaver, you can almost put your whole hand up against the knife, believe it or not, and you're really not at risk.
I never thought about it that way, but the way you explain it makes a lot of sense.
So
I can't help but notice this butter that you have over here. This is not your typical stick of butter that you'd buy at the grocery store. Where is this from?
That is from Oasis Dairy in New Jersey. While we do use, your regular run-of-the-mill unsalted butter for certain things, we actually do use really, really good quality butter for finishing sauces.
Is it cultured?
Yes.
I taste it. It's so good.
And also starting with something like a puree like I'm making here. That way it kind of helps develop the flavor from the very beginning rather than,
well, exactly.
just building on nothing.
A lot of people don't think that there's like a difference between butters, but it actually makes a huge difference.
Right. So what we're going to do here is we're basically just going to let these carrots and ginger sweat down a little bit.
Okay.
When I say sweat, it's just a nice, gentle saute.
No color on those.
No color, exactly.
Salt and pepper that you put in?
Pepper.
Anything else?
Nope.
So what did you just add to the pot there?
So basically I just added white wine and duck stock as well. That's going to cook down and they're going to get tender, so we can go ahead and blend them.
Cool.
This pork belly has been cured with a house Togarashi chili that we dry, and then I grind that down and make almost the Togarashi seasoning out of it.
Can I taste a little bit?
Absolutely. The Togarashi seasoning has dried orange peel and ground ginger in it. And it also gives you a really nice like umami, earthy flavor.
Big time, yeah.
So what we do is then 60% salt, 40% sugar, cure it for about 2 days, bring it out, rinse the cure off. We'll roast it on top of some mirepoix, carrot, celery, onions, a little fresh herbs, white wine, and again a little stock. And then we will roast it for about probably 4 hours. We'll let it cool just slightly, and then what we'll do is we'll press it, which gives you this really nice, flat,
looks like
even.
Bacon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It gives you this beautiful, even piece of pork belly.
How long do you press it for?
I like to press it overnight.
Okay.
And it kind of, as it cools, it'll set in a nice, perfect shape. So next, we can go ahead and cut down this pork belly. So basically, for pork belly, we like to serve about a 4-ounce piece. It is a beautiful, beautiful piece of nice fatty meat. It gives you a lot of texture, crispness, but also richness, and especially contrasts nicely with sharp flavor profiles.
And this pork belly really does have a lot of fat marbling going on. It looks amazing. So you go ahead and recook this?
Yep. We roasted this, it's been cooled, so basically all we have to do now is sear it and bring it up to temperature. So we can go ahead and add some oil to the pan.
Okay.
Pork belly, you don't really need a whole lot of oil.
Right, because it already
it's going to render out its fat.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and make the carrot puree.
You just dump that into the blender?
Pretty much.
All right.
The blender do its thing. Add a little dollop of our nice Oasis Dairy butter there. Perfect.
It's such a pretty color, too.
Yeah, nice bright orange. It'll really contrast the scallion and then the bright fresh vegetables.
Nice.
Cool.
Gorgeous.
So we'll let that hang out for a second.
You want the pan to be really hot?
Yep. I'm going to cut it down into slices.
Oh, okay.
And then go ahead and sear those off.
Now Now, will this render out a lot of its fat when you go to cook it?
Just enough that it crisps up. At this point, it's basically, you might as well just be cooking bacon.
Yeah, exactly.
Because pork belly is bacon.
Right. Especially since you've cured this.
Exactly.
Wow, look at you. You can see how tender the fat is when you go in there with the tweezers like that.
So we can go ahead and grab our plate.
It's so nice to have something really fresh and crisp to contrast with the fatty pork belly.
We can actually cut the heat at this point, and the residual heat will carry over the other side, crisp it up nicely. First thing we'll do is we'll take our carrot puree we made, just a nice dollop in the center of the plate.
It's so pretty.
Then we can take our pork belly. So to finish this dish off, a little bit of the salad. Even though it's hot and cold mixing, I like to just put it right on top.
Nice.
And then take some of our beautiful ponzu.
Oh, of course, the ponzu. I almost forgot about it. It's so nice and thick, too.
Yep. And then finished with our beautiful Blue Moon Acres microgreens.
This looks fabulous.
Just to add some nice bright colors to it.